So, Jess, what is the process of signing up and becoming a surrogate? What are the steps that women can take if they want to do this for a family?
So, first steps in signing up with Vermont Surrogacy Network is to reach out to us through our website or one of our ads that you can find on social media or Google and complete our getting started. Once a surrogate has, or a potential surrogate has signed up with our consultation, they're going to hear from, well, they're going to get an automated message, which is something we don't like to use a lot of,
Yep.
but it's so that they get initial contact from us and are able to schedule a call directly with me so I can talk to them about any questions that they have about surrogacy and answer any of the myths that they're concerned about and see when it's a good time for them to talk and if surrogacy is correct, it's right for their family.
Okay.
If they pre-qualify. Once they've gone through the pre-qualification call with me, which is about a half an hour, and I'm super flexible with my time. Okay. So if they can't schedule something that's on that consult, they can reach out to me and say, hey, I really don't have time. Are you available on this evening or, on a Thursday evening at 6:30? And I'm like, yeah, I can make that work because surrogates are already busy with their own families, and we completely respect that. The next step after our consultation is if they're interested and they pre-qualify, they are going to get a link to our VSN portal online where they can complete the full application, which again, we don't want anybody going through the process of filling out that application and taking hours of their precious time to fill out an application if they don't pre-qualify. So we're very conscientious about our surrogates' time.
And that's that interview with you first.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And then when they actually are given the application, they're going to find that there's multiple different tabs on the side of the portal where they're going to go from the top down. They're going to fill out information about their medical history, their pregnancies, deliveries, things like that, who they worked with, how many they've had, if there were complications, and also just information about their life, their living environment, who they live with, let's see, where they work, general information about who they are. Then once that is all completed, they also need to do like an OBGYN clearance form, and all of their medical records have to be reviewed.
What happens after that? So say I sign up, we go through the interview, I'm pre-qualified, I go through all the paperwork, all the online forms, I get you the clearance, then what?
So once you get through the medical clearance stage of the paperwork and all of your medical records for your previous pregnancies and deliveries have been reviewed, at that time, then you're going to schedule a final interview with me. It's usually an hour and a half to 2 hours. We do it in a face-to-face version. So if you're close to my office, we can do it there. If you are not, then we will do a video consult or conversation. I do like spouses and partners to be a part of this, at least for a chunk of the time if they can't be there for the entire duration. Again, I'm very flexible so that we can do this after work hours or after their little ones go to bed and things like that. So we have that consult. We go through a lot of their matching questions and getting to know them better, looking at what they're really looking for, a relationship with the intended parents, what their personality is like, and really go through the details with them about what the surrogacy process looks like from matching through post-delivery, so that they're very well informed and prepared for those next steps and ensuring that their partner and spouse is completely on board as well. It is extremely important that the family support is there. In order to be a surrogate, one of the qualifications is that if you are married or have a spouse or partner, that they are also willing to be a participant in this. Even though you as a surrogate are the one who's pregnant, they still need to be your support person.
So it's a whole family decision.
Correct. Yep. We don't want this to be causing any kind of chaos in someone's home or for their partner or their children.
Right.
So it's really important to know that your family is also supporting you and behind you for this.
Okay. And so after that interview, and then what?
After the interview, there's a few more, unfortunately, like the world is, it's full of paperwork and dotting I's and crossing T's. So they do have to fill out the interview questions that are the last page or 2 pages truly of their application, which are now available to be completed at this point. And the final page really is their additional compensation form. We all know that the base compensation currently for first-time surrogates is $50,000.
Yep.
And if you're an experienced carrier, you can ask for an additional $10,000. But then on top of that, there are things like maternity clothes, monthly allowance, travel expenses, lost wages, all of those other pieces. And then there's I like to call them the 1%. They don't happen very often, but if they did happen, there is additional compensation for pain and suffering for what your body goes through in this experience. So it would be things like, just some examples are, if you had to have a C-section, if you had to have an amniocentesis, cerclage, if there was a termination, if there was a reduction, if any of these things that don't happen frequently, but they do or could potentially happen, we want to make sure that there's additional compensation written into the gestational carrier agreement for this. So you'll complete that form after the interview, because we talk about it during the interview as well. Then you're going to fill out one more form in a DocuSign that just has a lot of information in writing, so that you can keep this on hand during your surrogacy journey, that kind of walks you through the steps again. And background checks. We always have to do background checks on intended parents and surrogates and their partners and spouses. Really, it's anyone who lives in the household with you that is over the age of 18.
Okay. So that's pretty extensive.
Yeah, it's very extensive. Absolutely. So
And
just when you think you're done, you're not quite done.
Not quite.
Yeah.
So after that, how long does that process take to get to the background check?
So from having the first conversation with us to getting to the background check, which is the last step before you're ready to match, it truly is variable based on how quickly a surrogate wants to get through the journey and get to the point of match. The sooner you are able to get to your OB to get the clearance form filled out, the faster everything can go. It does take, potentially 3 to 4 weeks sometimes to get all the medical records from your doctors and OBs so they can be reviewed. So honestly, the application process can take anywhere between 1 to 2 months. We try to move things along as quickly as possible, because surrogates, when you've decided you're ready to do this, are typically really ready to go. So we don't want this to slow them down and have them feel like they're just waiting in limbo.
Okay. And so how long does it take for the background check itself? I'm assuming the surrogate's not going to be doing anything during that time. They're just waiting.
The background check honestly only takes 1 to 3 days to get back.
Oh, that's really fast.
It's very fast.
Okay. So after the background check, what do you do then?
Once the background check is complete and they've signed those other documents, they're ready to get matched. So they go from being on our application stage to moving on to being matched. And that's when we're looking at their profile compared to the intended parents that are on our wait list. Our match list.
So they have to match in certain areas. Like, what's the criteria that you use to match?
So criteria to match. Some of the things we're really looking for are personality, which is again why I do these in-person interviews. So I really get to know who you are and what kind of interests you have, what kind of personality type you have. If you're truly outgoing, if you're more of an introvert, an extrovert, if you're looking to have daily conversations, weekly conversations have more structure because you're like, this is something I don't want to interfere with my family dynamic. And as a parent of 1, 2, 3 children, we need to have a certain type of structure based on the kid's age, of course, and their personalities. So we want to make sure that we match them with someone who feels like the surrogate's ability to communicate on a certain level is what they're also looking for.
Okay.
Some surrogates honestly want to chat with parents every day. Other surrogates say, once a week, let's just have a chat. Or, yeah, if you want to send me a text message, I'll always respond, but I don't have a ton of time outside of my family routine to just be on a phone call, because we all know, anyone who has children knows how hard it is to be on a phone.
So you look for that criteria,
yes,
and you set them up together as a potential match.
Yes.
And what does that process look like?
Well, we also want to make sure that we are matching them based on their clinic qualifications and criteria. So not just their personality and what they're looking for, also what the surrogates or the intended parents are looking for, and their clinics. And based on how far they're willing to travel, what those time commitments look like for the surrogate. So we're looking at a lot of that, and plus a handful or two of questions that are in the actual applications and the profiles themselves to make sure that they match on those criteria. And a lot of that comes around like termination, why you would terminate, why you wouldn't, what you would be willing to do in making medical decisions, how you think those should be made. So there's more than just personality, even though I love looking at the personality side of things, because we know good communication is the healthiest thing for all relationships.
Exactly. So after all of that, they meet the intended parents, or what do they do? Yeah, so the matching process is 3 stages. So the intended parents get to see the surrogate's profile first. We always do 1-to-1 matching. It's not like a slew of profiles or candidate to anyone. It's always 1-to-1. We select individually. So the intended parents get to see the surrogate's profile. They get to see
as many non-identifying things as possible. So they get to know the first name, but not the last name. They get to know the state that she lives in, but not the town. What she does for work, but not where she works. So we really want to make sure that people aren't just jumping onto Google
and finding someone,
because that's just how easy it can be in the world. They will know all of this information, but we want them to at least get through the profile first before they start digging into, what Google might say about things.
Okay.
So they do that. If they accept the surrogate, or if they have questions about the surrogate, they're going to ask me first. If they just go ahead and accept her profile, the surrogate then gets to see their profile. She also gets to ask questions to me. And if I have any more information I can give her that she's looking for, that's what I'll do. If she does accept the profile, then they are able to start chatting in our match chat room.
Okay.
From that point, they're going to set up a video call. Whatever platform they all decide to use, this is something that they do independently from us. We know about it. They let us know when it's happening. But the idea is for them to start learning how to communicate with each other. And I like to consider it a very peculiar blind date is really what it is.
That's funny.
So you know a little about each other, but you don't know a lot about each other. And you're just kind of saying, hey, we know that we have the same intentions. We know we have the same goal. Is this going to work for us? So they have that first meeting. They get to know each other a little bit better. Some people really focus on the surrogacy, and some people just talk just to get to know each other. If that goes well and both parties come back and say, yes, this feels great so far, we want to take the next step. The third step of matching is an in-person meeting. So the intended parents will come up closer to where the surrogate lives, and they'll set up time where they get together. Breakfast, lunch, or dinner. They'll do brunch. Sometimes they'll take the kids to go to the park, or they'll come to an event. They'll plan it around a time that there's an event happening in the community. So we've even had people come up for like an entire weekend and spend time together.
That sounds like fun.
For a couple of different events. Yeah, it's been absolutely fantastic. Some of the ways that people are very creative in how they do this sometimes. And yeah, the idea is if you get along well, if it feels like a good connection, and both parties come back to me saying, yeah, feels like a great connection, then we consider it an official match.
Okay.
And they move from the matching stage on to medical screening.
Okay. That's amazing. All right. I think that is all the questions I have for today.
Okay.
So, all right. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. I think next time I'm going to have to ask you questions.
Ask me questions.
I think that'll be fun.
I'm new.
That's
I don't
right.
know anything.
We're going to see what you do know.
So thank you so much for everyone for tuning in and listening to us jabber on about surrogacy.
Which we love to do.
And yeah, we will see you next time.
Sounds great.
If you have any questions or you want to write into us, you can email us at info@vtsurrogacy.com. We would appreciate anything you have to say to us.
Absolutely.
All right.
And we respond very quickly.
We do.
I can't wait to hear from you.
Thank you so much, everyone. Bye.
Bye.